Okay, scooter tramps and chopper jockeys all across the land. It is 9 Eastern Standard Time-ish. 9 on the East Coast. That means it's time for another episode of Shop Talk. I'm your host, Chris Callen. I'm joined by the lovely Heather.
Hiya.
Yeah, you need a microphone.
Twice in 1 week. I'm obviously not prepared. Sorry, guys.
Hey, also joining us for the second week in a row, Mark Persichetti sitting off to my right. What's up, baby?
Boy, is this going to cost you.
Add it to the bill.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Angry Elf sits in.
Always happy to be here.
Hey, but you got some neat perspective this week. I mean, we're going to start off real quick just talking about, you walked in telling me some incredible news from the Meekum auction.
Yeah, spent a good bit of time last night with my dad in front of the TV, which is always entertaining, and caught the Crocker small tank bidding deal, which was unreal. Like to sit and watch that, to be into motorcycles and see something old and into old stuff, and it was awesome. I mean, they didn't expect it to sell for nearly what it sold for, and the guy was totally blown away that he got what he wanted, and it was cool as hell.
Yeah, so right here it says the estimate coming into the auction was $300,000 to $350,000, and go ahead and tell everybody what that actually.
$775,000.
Jesus.
We were blown away. I mean, it was big number stuff last night. Ferraris, GT1s, Porsches, old Porsche SUVs. It was just crazy. And then this motorcycle comes up and you're thinking, you rarely see a motorcycle. And the cool part about it, in the background through the whole thing was Captain America. So had it sitting off in the background, and almost every shot that they took, you could see that bike sitting there. So for that thing to come up and sell at that kind of money it was pretty cool.
Right on, man. So, hey, that was a little quick start to the show that we don't normally do, but I do want to tell you, Shop Talk's coming to you live every Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, courtesy of the Russ Brown Motorcycle Attorney Studios. We appreciate Russ Brown helping us bring this program to you every week, and this is a program where we don't want you just to be an observer. We want you to get involved, and during the show, you'll see that we bring up the comments, concerns.
Everybody's excited that Mark's here. We have a lot of high marks, and of course,
I can't see them.
Camel says you look taller
I've been working on it, Camel. Since the last time he saw me, which was 9 years ago.
because he didn't go to Sturgis.
That's
know,
right.
right?
You'll never live it down.
Right. Sturgis was off the hook this year. That was last week. If you guys didn't happen to catch our show, we had the Sturgis
Last week,
wrap.
wasn't it like yesterday at 2?
It was Sunday actually.
okay.
So I can technically say that was last week.
They're all Mondays.
So yeah, man. Every Thursday, make sure you hit the share button. Make sure you hit the follow thing. Do all that. Shop Talk does come to you live through Facebook Live, YouTube Live, Twitter Live, Twitch TV, and then after the fact, we follow it up with a podcast that lives forever. All of it lives forever, but the podcast is not live. You can catch that on YouTube or Google Play through any of your Apple or Android devices. And
How do you remember all of that?
I just fell asleep
That's a lot.
halfway through that.
well, see, I spend 375,000 hours in front of the computer putting this shit together, and
Wow.
some of it sticks.
He just said that out loud.
Right.
Hey, speaking of that, none of us here, everybody sitting at this panel right now, crazy amount of talent and different stuff. It really takes an entire village to make all of this stuff happen all the time. You know what I mean? And we don't ever look for credit. We're not the credit grabber types. And we go about the work, and the work is the work. And, the gratification comes from the little things along the way. But dude, today, because one of our guests, our first guest of the night actually is Paul Weidman from Bare Knuckle Choppers. And Paul, a bunch of years ago, was involved with a book with us called Custom Bike Building Basics. So in pre-show, we're looking to build the assets and stuff for Paul to be on the show, and I'm grabbing pictures from everywhere. And I came across this book on Amazon, and I did something that I never do.
Oh, boy.
I started reading reviews on the book. And listen, there was maybe 100 of them that were great, right? And that one prick.
Yeah, there's always one. Usually it's
guy.
me, though.
I know.
Yeah.
And I'm checking to see if this was an alias that you were using, because
No.
the guy just
I
went
cannot
on to
tell
say
a lie.
some shit like, He doesn't believe that I've ever built a bike. I probably paid
It
someone.
could have possibly been.
It could have been you. I know. It sounds so much like you. Anyway, man, lot to get to tonight. We already told you Paul's our first guest tonight. Then second on the hour, we're going to bring in Beaner. Beaner is truly a motorcycle gypsy and continues.
Beaner's in Pennsylvania, or wasn't?
He was. He was. I called him this morning. That's how this happened. I called him up. I was like, dude, you're in the neighborhood. You're not stopping in?
He's usually like in a state for like a minute anyway.
So, a lot to get to tonight, but as typical fashion for Shop Talk, we usually like to start this thing off with a little thing called the news. First up in the news tonight, Harley-Davidson announces its lineup and new items for the 2020 model year. Lots of stuff to talk about here, even though there's only a few motorcycles. There's 3 new CVOs that you can see up on the screen right now. The Livewire, obviously, that we've all talked about plenty. Yeah. There's a new Road Glide Limited, which I'm sure is going to be super badass. This right here, the Reflex Defensive Rider System.
You say that 3 times fast.
I'm not yet prepared to talk about
reflexes.
Apparently, it does almost everything that you would be too dumb to do. So, I'm not going to say a whole bunch.
Let's just skip over that.
Other than that, right now, we're going to come back to that. I promise you, next week. The thing I do want to talk about this week is for all the people who have the questions and concerns about Harley Davidson and where they're going and whether or not they're hitting the mark. I present to you humbly the Lowrider S because this thing is badass. And, as far as modern styling and, things people are looking at for outreach, this bike is totally cool. So we give them kudos for that. Comes with the 114-inch motor, part of the new Softail family. Lots of great features, and like I said, the sort of stunt bike styling goes along with it, sort of reminiscent of the early 80s lowrider in color. The only thing that I believe will be a catch point for this is the fact that it's $18,000.
Yep.
And I mean,
I agree.
We're
still on the steep end.
It is a little bit, especially. I mean, like I said, they're really nailing it on the outreach as far as the demographic they're going after with that design.
How come we haven't got one of them to ride yet?
Yeah, I blame you, Mark.
Why do you blame me?
Because
I haven't yelled at anybody Harley Davidson yet.
You're not a team player.
Oh, well, that's not only going to get any worse, but
it certainly isn't getting better.
Nope.
What about you, Blondie?
Let's
what do we got in from social media so far?
Mark V is in the house. He hasn't watched us in quite a bit. I thought he had completely abandoned ship. Jim Watson is here. Hey, Jim, we haven't seen you in forever.
Oh, Jim, you're due for a visit.
Hey, can somebody please introduce me to Jim again?
Ditch is here, but she's only here for the men.
Oh, boy. Well, hey, she's not stupid.
Oh, poor Ditch.
We miss Ditch and Sturgis.
Yeah.
Ditch, we miss you. Hope you're well. Brian Nichols, Lowrider, looks very cool. Missy Shoemaker. Michael loved the one he rode around in Sturgis. Brenda and Jack are here. Everybody's here. Well, almost. Dan Starkey, looking forward to seeing you guys in Tennessee. And then everybody else is showing their adoration for Mark.
I thought you were going to say ass.
Hey,
I really did.
Since I can't see you guys, hi to everybody who's saying hello.
Here you go. Now they can see you.
Great.
There you go.
Well, I meant I can't see who's all coming up on the screen, so I haven't moved up to yet having my own screen because they gave me a microphone though.
We got to give you
a cell phone.
We got to give you
but
that
means I
little.
got to pull it out.
Oh,
He pulled it out.
I pulled it out.
He pulled it out.
Oh boy,
Jerry.
Jerry,
He pulled it out.
I think it moved.
Okay.
Yeah, it's going to be that kind of show.
Summer George.
Summer
All
George,
right.
Jerry. Let's jump back into the news. Curtis Motorcycles, who we reported on earlier this year with unveiling an electric motorcycle, is stepping up their game with this second announcement.
Yeah, this is super interesting.
It is kind of interesting. I mean, let's get over the fact that we've talked electric motorcycles to death, and we're not even going to get into that part of this. But this particular, the Curtis Motorcycle Company's Zeus 8 motorcycle design, is actually made with 3D printing technology.
and it's not a Lego.
Right?
It kind of looks like
No,
it could be a
I was just
Lego.
gonna say, it looks a little like a Lego, but it's so cool though. Like the fact that they're actually BMW. You were saying
Yeah.
BMW uses some 3D printing parts already, and like How cool is that? That actually 3D printing parts that you're utilizing now. It's
Yeah.
awesome.
And that's like, looking into the future ball or the crystal ball of the future ball.
You have future balls.
The
future
left
balls.
one is the future ball. The right one's the past.
Let's leave that one alone.
Yeah, let's move on. But looking into the crystal ball of the future, like you can imagine someday, like everybody having in their house a 3D printer, and when you wanted to go, like today we go to Amazon, and you're Amazon Prime, and you have everything tomorrow.
You can just print it.
You would just print it.
Hey,
You would
they-
just
they-
print shit
they'd
like
say-
Do you know they're actually printing human organs now?
You stop now.
Seriously, it's crazy. It's
We-
I
We
don't
had
know.
actually talked about before that they were talking about, instead of buying certain toys for your kids for Christmas, this 3D printer being in your home, and you order it, you buy
Right.
and it prints the present out for you right there. I mean, that
and you
save
get
all that
you
pesky
get one
going to the
program.
mall.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And imagine, like, instead of kids just tearing through shit and it's
Yep.
over in a minute, they'd sit there and watch the printer go bzzz,
Yep.
bzzz. Wonder what I'm getting. Bzzz.
I would've broke
that's
the print.
awesome.
Hey, me, I would have got the printer. I would have taken it apart. It would have never worked again.
Right?
So,
All right, so
It is super cool. Anyway, it does have a titanium chromoly frame. Did I say that right?
titanium chromoly.
Titanium chromoly.
There you go.
And it's 217 horsepower with a mere asking price of $75,000.
Okay, you lost me there.
yeah. And again, you got to ask yourself. I mean, it's cool, the technology, the 3D printing, the now battery operated everything. But what's the battery cost? How long does the
Oh,
battery
bazillion
last?
dollars.
Those are still the unanswered
Yeah,
questions of the
it's-
electronic revolution.
It's something you almost have to wait 5 years to see how it's going to work
Yep.
out. And you hate to damn the whole thing. It's a great idea, and it's awesome that technology is getting to this level. But man, it makes you question, if you spend that 75 grand, what happens in 5 years? Where do you go? And on top of that, we need to get one just so we can figure out how to tear it apart and do something cool to it.
So this next segment comes to us from the Buffalo Chip. It's one of my favorite segments. It's Batshit Crazy News.
Batshit crazy news.
Okay, so any year of Sturgis contains just absolute cornucopia of batshit crazy
Ooh,
news.
that was a
from,
good word.
from Sturgis and specifically the Buffalo Chip. But this is one of our favorite things every year. The Sturgis Buffalo Chip, after the rally, announces their lost and found. This is the 2019 lost and found from the Buffalo Chip. That means after the people leave the party, the shit that they leave behind starts off with a whole friggin' fridge. Thanks for the memories, no regrets.
No, it says thanks for the memories.
Memories.
No regret. So I'm guessing that guy's a tattoo artist somewhere.
Yeah.
No
he was,
regrets.
dude, he was eating a Milky Way. Leave him alone.
Die fur. A non-lead sled found next to the info board at Camp Zero.
Yeah, there you go.
That is a non-lead
Yes,
sled.
it is a
That's a plastic
non-lead
sled. Dude, we should do plastic sled customs.
Oh boy, here
We can 3D print everything.
We could.
There's my favorite.
Anal ease.
Not just anal ease. Slow down there, pal.
My
Cherry
God,
anal
it's got to be
ease.
flavored.
Right?
God, I just
So-
had a horrible flashback of Flip.
I want to know who picked that up.
And if they had,
I want to
Like-
know who dropped it.
is that under hot seat? I don't get it.
Oh, I know it's warming.
The
It's warming
hunks
for
of the
both.
show.
It's warming for both. Rib for her pleasure, but warming for
Warming
both.
for both, right?
Hunk's hot seat wristbands. Well,
Which
this
was
was found
found
right
next to-
next to the anoids. Yeah.
Right. Well, go for it.
God, I'm gonna die. Caution tape. The crime scene had been violated.
I want to know who left a whole chopper.
Wait, I didn't get to that.
Oh, sorry.
You're ruining the
Real
surprise.
nice. Great. This is why we can't have nice
A
things.
ton of tents
just
and
go to my
pop-ups
corner.
in various states of disrepair. An entire toilet paper chopper. I want to know, did they come back to get the chopper?
Questioning.
Yeah.
There might be a guy under all that toilet paper.
A bunch of beds. A few places to make yourself comfy.
A lazy boy.
Who brings
Toiletries
an
and
entire lazy boy to
Dude,
Sturgis?
hey, first off, who brought dude wipes?
right, right. If you get caught at the Sturgis Black Hills Classic
With a
with
pack
dude
of
wipes,
dude wipes.
you need your ass kicked.
You need anal ease.
And I'm not saying, listen, I'm not saying you shouldn't use them.
Well,
you just shouldn't get caught with them. You
possibly.
definitely shouldn't, right?
More people should use them. Hey, it looks like the tire that we had the flathead in.
Right? Scuzzy old tire, your guide to the
boy.
best party anywhere. Living Dead's beer pong table,
Oh boy.
regular beer pong table, a lovely bunch of coconuts,
Somebody lost their
a
nuts.
freaky tiki torch, and some dirty pillows, which that's just
that's just
swim. A beach ball with a thing for bondage.
obviously.
You know that came from Patterson's trailer. Plenty of pool floaties. One looks flat. Native and exotic wildlife species.
Do you see what it says? Though?
Derek's bitch.
Wow.
I'm not even going there.
You know, I'm questioning that.
A rat's hole mug. Snoop Dogg.
Snoop Dogg,
Dude,
right on.
They were tossing this shit out at his show like everybody had a Snoop Dogg $100 bill.
Man, need some bling.
Motorcycle armrest. Volbeat t-shirt. Some soiled sandals. Oh.
Yeah.
And that's why you wear sandals when you go into the showers, boys and girls.
Somebody
right there.
left that guy there?
A cardboard cutout whose vest reads R.I.P. Matt McKenzie, Sturgis 2019. Near as we can tell, this Matt in the cutout, and Matt passed away in a motorcycle accident in July, possibly en route to Sturgis. Godspeed, Matt.
Well, and they left him there. Somebody should have took the guy home with them.
Nerf football, 2 small wooden mallets. Joe Melky, God damn it. A Bikini Beach marker masterpiece.
Ooh, that's pretty cool.
A Renaissance mannequin. And the list goes on and on.
What the?
Oh,
Okay.
sweet Jesus.
Okay, apparently I didn't see the whole. I don't even want to know.
Hey, there's the other half.
Go fast, don't die. Except you, bitch.
Yeah, apparently she didn't make it.
Flamingo socks. Also from the Lead Sled
I
trailer.
think no. I think those were Tyler Porter's.
They may have been. Oh my God. Okay, so in any event, thank you to our friends from the Buffalo Chip for lightening up the evening, because man, that's one of our favorite. I wish everyone at every rally would start to do one of those, because
Yeah,
it's
that
badass.
would be great.
All right,
It
moving
might be
on.
scary sometimes though.
It is.
It would always be scary. Moving on to some feel-good news. A 91-year-old man still enjoys riding his Harley.
How cool's that?
Bob Miller on his Harley Davidson Tri-Glide in front with his sons from left, Mark, Mike, and Matt on their Tri-Glides at Parkersburg City Park. You know, simple advice right here. Whenever the spirit moves you, get up and go.
So
Yeah.
I liked that he rode his first bike in 41, and then and it was a Harley, and then oh geez, I forgot. In 47, he bought his first Harley for $50.
Yeah, and
$50.
Think about this. Back in those days,
And it was probably a knucklehead, right?
even at $50. Back in those days, each dealer would actually keep a payment book.
Yep.
That's how people would buy a motorcycle. So for $50, that guy would go in every payday and make like a $5 payment.
make a small-
you
That's
know?
crazy.
Yeah.
It's awesome though.
Yep. So congratulations.
Man, I
91.
hope-
Mark said earlier that he needs to hook up with Gloria. They need to go get
Yeah,
some
like
coffee.
just go get a
Right?
coffee or something like that. You know, that'd be awesome.
It looks
Could
like
you
he might be able
imagine
to keep
pulling
up with her.
Could you imagine pulling up to a red light next to those two? Like they'd
Oh
pull up
my
next
God.
to you, and you'd be like, Psh, dude.
Okay, I'm
And
a
I-
sissy.
I'd be
And
like,
I
I'm
whined-
nothing.
I'm a
I
sissy.
whined because I was tired on the way home from work today. You know what I mean? Like, this dude's 91. He's still riding. I
and
had
he
trouble
rides-
walking up the steps to my house this afternoon.
He rides almost every weekend. Like
That's
great, man.
More power to him.
That's great. So this is pretty cool in the news this week. A lot of these do-it-yourself kind of shops have been popping up, and they're actually like more than do-it-yourself. A more appropriate name would be a community garage.
And there's a lot of those lately, huh?
Yeah, and we've reported on quite a few of these across the country. They're starting to be, really popular. But this one in specific, I think the rent on this place is $30. Is that what?
The particular membership they're talking about is $30 for 3 months. But they also hold seminars and classes, and they teach you everything about your motorcycle, and then they give you the power to fix it yourself.
Yeah.
So, right
And
on.
I mean, the nice thing about this, on top of having somebody knowledgeable at your disposal, usually there's, some community tools. There's a
They are all community tools, so everything you need to work on your motorcycle is there already, which is pretty impressive.
So tell them, Blondie, what's the name of this place where you can find some more stuff about it?
Dunn Lewis is the name of they call it a motorcycle repair club. It is in Northeast DC, I
Yep.
believe. Let me,
Yeah,
I'll
that-
post a link to it and to the article so people can find it.
That came from the DCist
The DC
was our source on that. So, hey, before we get to our first guest of the evening, I'm going to remind you guys one more time, we're coming to you through the courtesy of the Russ Brown Motorcycle Attorney Studio, which we sit in right now, 27 levels below the street at Cycle Source Magazine headquarters, every Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we're going to take a quick 2 minutes and do some business for the show. We'll be right back with you.
I want you Sunday, I want you Monday, I want you Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I want your blonde hair.
We're back again for another edition of the Let's Let Sports Show, this time here in Camp Zero, right across from Buffalo Chip, and we're going to show you why, once again, the Sportster is the best Harley Davidson ever built. Best thing about Sportsters is people actually riding it. We have a chopper here, obviously ridden in, pretty well box stock, Sportster, pretty run-of-the-mill, but obviously ridden in. He's got his tent on there, and right next to it, we have a hooligan bike. This dude races his. Once again, the versatility of the Sportster, top-notch. Couple of my favorites here at the show, and very, very different. Back here, we have like a tracker, scrambler, all-around bike. Obviously, this guy rides it all over the place. It's set up to do some woods riding, which I love. And right next to it, you have not a chopper, it's a swing arm, still has suspension, just slammed to the ground, total custom bike. Once again, proving the versatility of the great Sportster. And Let's Let Show here does a great job of showing the complete versatility of a Sportster and why it is indeed the best bike Harley Davidson has ever made.
Okay, big thanks out to our friends at JP Cycles for giving us that cool video on the Sportster Showdown. And the quick commercial on the Tennessee Motorcycle and Music Revival leads us into our first guest of the evening. Our first guest, Paul Weidman from Bare Knuckle Choppers, is no stranger to the magazine. He used to be our tech editor for quite a long time, has built an insane amount of custom motorcycles during his career. This year, we actually get to spend some time with him when we all roll into Tennessee for the event, for the BC Moto Invitational. It's going to be pretty badass, so we're going to go to the phone lines right now and see if we can get Paul on the air. Hey, Paul, you're live on ShopTalk. How you doing, man?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm excellent, man. It's so good to catch up to you, dude. It's been quite a while.
Yeah, likewise, man. We always cross paths, but never really have the time.
You know, I was telling a story earlier about in pre-show getting assets together and, you know, getting ready to interview you tonight. And man, just running by some of the old pictures of like all the crazy shit we used to do. And, you know, the bikes, man, the bikes, like Bare Knuckle Choppers were hands down always my favorite bikes. You know, I've been a fan for an awful long time, and just good memories, man.
Well, I appreciate that, man. I remember the first time me and a guy that used to work with me, a good friend of mine, Casey, the first time we met you was at Sturgis, and you were set up at what was it even back then? I guess it was the old Broken Spoke County line back then.
Yeah.
And you had your the big camper out there, and we went out there and hung out with you all night. And I was like, man, that dude's legit. You know, the whole grassroots thing. You know, it was right after you hit the national newsstands that we met you, and you know, just the vibe was always good.
Right on.
And just, you know, when it's real, it's real.
Well, I appreciate that, dude. And speaking of back in the day and voices from the past, I have the angriest elf with me tonight too.
I want to get
I saw that.
He's gonna punch
I want to
me.
get back to some of the crazy
Dude.
stuff that we did because we had some fun together.
Oh, dude.
Oh, we had some good times. I'm just wondering why the picture of the analies reminded you of times with Flip. That just, I don't
dude,
know why no one else picked up on
I'd
that.
love to tell you the story. I truly would, and I'd have to do it on the phone because his mom would be mad at me.
Yeah, I don't know that I want to hear it.
No,
might just
you
want to
do.
save that
You
one.
definitely want to hear it. It's a perfect Flip story. So
Yeah, okay.
it's a,
Oh my God.
Put it all on Flip.
it
Fair
is
enough.
It is Flip. That's the great
used
part
to
about
blame
it.
we used to blame a lot of stuff on guys like Flip and poor Ferguson. You know.
Poor
Yeah.
Ferguson.
Oh yeah. I'll go on record as saying poor Ferguson.
Yeah, he did enough that he doesn't need to. He can have it put on him.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, those were wild times, though. I don't know how we survived all of it.
Dude, you're not kidding. I question a good bit of that.
Well, you know, and one of the great things now on the other side of that is seeing, you know, each one of us individually and respectfully, those of us that have stuck around and lived through it, how we've matured and the things that we've started to do in the second part of our careers and our life together and stuff. And man, you've been doing some really, really amazing stuff with BKC.
Well, I appreciate it, man. I mean, I just kind of, I think you just kind of nailed it. You kind of evolve and you mature a little bit. Don't get me wrong, you know, like when we get together in Tennessee in a couple weeks, you know, it'll be just like old times. But, you know, then you go back home and you just do your homework and you stay in the shop and you try to, you know, kind of the thing I've tried to do with my shop is I try to solve problems rather than just, you know, being able to offer a piece for every single part of the bike. I'm just trying to solve problems and try to make the bike either perform better or perform and look better.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the direction I've taken in the last 4 or 5 years.
Right on.
Well, you've always had the ability to make them perform real well and look really good. So you got your work cut out for you there, buddy.
Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, and you know, it's definitely, I don't know how much you guys touch on this, but it's definitely a weird environment lately as far as you don't know what's around the corner. You know, I know Harley, you know, there's a lot of stuff from their dealer show or whatever they call it here in the last couple of days.
It sure isn't getting any easier, that's for sure.
No, it's not. You know, the electric stuff is definitely interesting and I think exciting because, you know, electric power is an instant, you know, it's like power now.
Right.
You know, you're not shifting gears and there's no lag. It's exciting. I don't know how much I like it myself. You know, like the combustion engine is always going to be the thing for guys like us.
Oh,
but,
most definitely.
you know, you still geek out on that stuff. So it's definitely an interesting and exciting time, if not kind of difficult maybe. You know, like you don't really know where things are going as far as with EPA regulations and, you know, what the OEMs are doing.
You know, at the same time too, I kind of dig the challenges. I dig the fact that there's almost like a qualifying line that you have
raising
to,
the bar.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
I
always raising the
almost think that makes us healthier in the end.
And in all reality, to tell you the truth, that's something that you've never been able to put the bar high enough for us not to all take a chance of jumping over it. So, you know, maybe it's just one more hurdle we need to jump over.
Yeah, great point. Yeah, I agree. I think that just like if you're the only game in town, you know, you're not challenging yourself. Yeah. You know, you need to be challenged by your competitors and your peers. And in this case, you know, by the OEMs or whatever the market is dictating.
Absolutely. So I don't know if you caught this at the beginning of the show, but we were talking through some of the news, and the Curtis Motorcycle Company, who, you know, earlier in the year they launched an electric motorcycle, but now their new offering is actually made with 3D printed, like on demand parts. You know, and from a machinist standpoint, I want to know how you feel about that.
Oh, I'm already a dinosaur, and so many guys, you know. Brandon from Speed Merchant told me that one day. He's like, man, we're dinosaurs. And it's just like, yeah, you know, we are. So it's like an adapt or die kind of a situation. I think the additive machining is here to stay. It's but that being said, there's still secondary. There's always going to be need for machinists. You know, it's
absolutely.
Whereas a big machine shop, I've got a really good friend in Indiana that runs a big machine shop, and he's like, yeah, we're rolling the dice. We're buying a couple of these 3D printers, and it's not 3D plastic printing. This is like aluminum, titanium, stainless steel. It's actually called additive machining. He's like, we're buying a couple of those. And whereas he's got, 30 CNC machines on the floor and he's got 2 of these little printers, I think it's going to flip-flop where you've got 4 or 5 CNC machines and you've got 30 or 40 printers in the next 10, 20 years. Mm-hmm. So, because the thing with additive machining is you can create models and stuff. You can create features that you just cannot do. It's just physically not possible with traditional machine work. So it's exciting. I think guys like myself are going to have to adapt, and I have been. I mean, I use 3D printing fairly often now for prototyping and stuff, and I actually have a couple of products on the table that may use actual additive machining, because like intake manifolds and stuff, where you can just add stuff in there that a machine can't create.
They can definitely go hand in hand. That's definitely a great part of this, that it's going to enhance. It's going to give you maybe a little bit more diversity in what you can actually do.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's already been into outer space.
Right.
The stuff is surviving just extreme temperatures and forces and everything. So it's going to be around, and the way it is now, you're still going to have to clean up threads. You're still going to have to clean up bores. There's going to be, just spot facing and all kinds of things like that. But it's here to stay. Just like the electric bikes are, there's no way around it. That's going to be the thing that we're all going to be dealing with in the future.
Now, I wonder too, because I don't have the depth to discuss this on a real level of intellect, but like with the electric bikes, I can say that there's many obstacles and challenges ahead for that. With infrastructure, the unknown question about the batteries and battery life and battery price, and the mining conditions for making those batteries. Are there the same kind of challenges with 3D printing, like for real world components? Are there still a bunch of limitations that they have to make it over?
I don't think that 3D printing, from a manufacturing standpoint, has those kind of obstacles to clear. I saw a thing the other day where there was a gas powered vehicle pulling a diesel generator, and the generator was charging a battery powered car. It's like, you got 2 fossil fueled vehicles, filling up essentially a battery powered
it's almost hypocritical.
It is, and it's like, if you realize how much it takes to create those things, but I think that the technology is going to catch up, and it's going to be a big part of our future, if not completely overtake fossil fuel. But when you talk about additive machining in the manufacturing world, I think it's light years ahead of where that battery technology is. We're getting really close to where you're going to see a major shift in the big machine shops in aerospace, in any kind of OEMs. There's going to be a whole lot more of it in the near future. I'd say 5 to 10 years, you're going to see a major shift where it's going to go from 95%, traditional machines and 5% additive machines to, you're going to be getting close to that 50-50 part.
Right.
The 50-50 mark.
And they have
it's coming up quick.
They have the ability to work hand in hand really well together. So,
they do. And the fact that right now it's not quite as quick to make a lot of things, you're still dealing with, there's a lot of cast parts out there that still have secondary machining. It's just, and honestly, I have a lot of friends that are way deeper into that industry than I am, and they could talk to it a lot better. But I do see the importance, and we'd actually considered purchasing an actual 3D printer, an additive machining where you're doing aluminum and titanium and those things. And I think it is the wave of the future. It's going to be a big deal.
Yeah, there's
and
definitely...
even the desktop printers are coming along really quick. Those desktop printers are nuts right now. Like, you can run carbon fiber essentially through them, and all these
That's
other
insane. I know.
Yeah, it's nuts. I mean, it's so fast.
Well, Paul, I got to tell you, you continue to be the example of what I hold up when people question the intellect and the depth of character and knowledge when it comes to people of the motorcycle culture. I don't know how much of that exists as much as when we were kids, that people were like, oh, dirty miscreants off in the corner.
Yeah.
You know, but like you've always been, man, in your articles and the research that you've always done and the stuff that you do for a living, like you've always been the exception to the rule. It's a pleasure to talk to you.
Well, I appreciate that, Chris. I really do. And I love what you guys are doing, of course, and I wouldn't be involved with anything that I didn't, support. So, yeah, like I really appreciate it. I look forward to seeing you guys down at Bill's show.
Yeah, so let's talk about that for a minute. Tennessee,
Yeah.
because this is Mark and I are coming in as flat broke, and this is our first year. And man, like 2 years running now, we're just sitting there going, man, we got to get to this thing. We got to get involved with this thing. Set the stage for us.
From a standpoint that you and I and Mark would share, it's like a homecoming for us builders, which also sets the stage for the just the average through the door road down here from Chicago, road up here from Austin. For those guys, it sets the stage for them because it's very open. Everybody, like all of the people that they may want to come and see are right out there in the crowd. They're out there wrecking their mini bikes, or they're out there wrecking their shovel heads on the little dirt track. It's just almost like a campground. I mean, it is a campground, but it's almost like if you go back to your childhood and that cool campground scene that you think of with your parents, it's just like that, except for it's like all of your adult friends still out there acting like those same kids that might have had their mini bike loose in the campground.
Right on.
The music scene there is cool, of course. They put on good shows. Just the whole thing it's by far my favorite show.
Right on.
It's a good time.
I'm looking forward to it because we never, and you'd know this, maybe a lot of people aren't listening. We never get to go to an event and literally have fun. We go to an event and we bust it
Most
nonstop.
of us, most of the guys on that list.
It's like we never get to enjoy being around each other and spend 5 minutes, maybe going and running a mini bike or maybe going and checking out other people's stuff. So it's going to be awesome to get to spend some time with everybody involved that we normally work with instead of get to have fun with. So I'm really looking forward to it. So
it's funny hearing you say that because I do remember having a whole lot of screw off time and fun with you guys in the past.
Dude, that's what I said. Some of the if we talked about stupid stuff we did, we can go on for like 2 hours.
Oh my god!
So we've had some fun together. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, no, we have. No, and that's what it is. It's just a good time. It's a whole bunch of good people and great atmosphere. It's an awesome location because like last year was super hot for being, I think it was the very beginning of October last year, but it was really hot down there. And I just, throughout the day, in the heat of the day, I just kind of, me and my buddies, we sat there in the creek that runs through the campground. We sat there in the creek in our lawn chairs and just had a hell of a time. Yeah. There's great riding around there. So many great curvy roads. It's just a blast.
Right on. Well, we obviously give you congratulations for being one of Bill's invited builders for the BC Moto.
Thank you.
I'm sure you're bringing something badass, but more importantly, we got to give mad respect out to Bill because Bill's vision for this thing. I don't know what like regular people who don't know Bill and don't know a little bit of the history, but he really is like reconstructing that kind of family circle and
bringing the culture back.
Yeah, bringing those people back together. With
Absolutely.
Not so much about an invitation or a dick measuring contest. It's pretty awesome.
Well, that's what's cool. There's no judging. Nobody's getting an award. Nobody's, it's just you're there to be part of the group. And as much as anything, it's just an honor to be included with all those folks and to call them friends.
Right on. Well, if you could take a couple seconds here and tell everybody what you have coming up, what to start looking for Bare Knuckle, what's the new stuff. I mean, we'd love to start getting some quick video stuff to break parts and stuff here. I know you're cranking out new parts all the time, but where do they keep track? What's going on?
Well, I mean, probably the best way, I've got a new website that's about to launch any day now. It's, of course, waiting on me, so you never know how long that's going to take. You can relate to that, Chris. Yep. So Instagram's a great way. I'm actually getting ready to start running the Facebook thing again, which I've avoided like the plague for about 5 years, but I know I need to get back at it. Basically just your general social media and everything. The really exciting stuff that we're about to launch. We released our adventure bag system for the Dynas about a year ago. We've got them all worked out for the FXRs now. So we're going to have like a quick detach. So you can have, basically completely waterproof adventure style like the BMW guys run. aluminum cases on your FXR, but you can have them off of your bike in about 30 seconds. So you can go from like traveling to back to bar hopping in about 30 seconds.
Yeah, we actually had a picture of those up. That's a pretty cool part.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I'm pretty proud of that one because it's very, very, it's very utilitarian. It's super
You took
convenient.
the words right out of my mouth, and I saw the picture for literally 2 seconds.
Yeah.
So,
Thanks, I appreciate it. It's, you know what, it worked out great, and people are really happy with them. We've beat the shit out of them, and they've held up. Everything's good. So now we've moved them over to the FXRs, and I think next is either going to be the Sportster line, or we may even do the new Softails. We're kind of back and forth between which one's going to be next for that. But then we do have actually a pretty exciting new front suspension offering that we're going to come up with. I'm not going to divulge a whole lot of details, but it's basically going to be a little bit more economical than maybe some of the things you see for other performance options out there.
Amen.
Yeah, so you're going to be able to use some parts that you may already have, and then you can take those parts and later on down the road add,
dude,
like, you know, better performance suspension stuff from any of the, you know, from Olin's or, you know, even Progressive or any of those guys. You know, they're making stuff for these, but we're going to make it into a little bit sexier package that works well on the new bikes, and it also translates very well onto choppers, because kind of the direction I'm starting to take a lot of my business is, you know, like we say performance choppers and then performance choppers, you know, like bikes that maybe, you know, it might be a kick-ass FXR, it might be an old panhead, or it might be a twin cam powered chopper with great brakes and killer acceleration.
Yeah.
So we're kind of trying to blend a little bit of everything lately.
Yeah, I think that's smart too, man. I mean, the community and the crowd out there continues to become more diverse, and you know, and at the bottom of all of it, and I think with our generation really kicked this off. If you're not riding it, it's just dumb.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so like we've always all of us here have been about the hard ride crew. You know what I mean? So
And
it just
there's
makes sense.
one of your selling points on your bags. I mean, in all reality, for somebody who rides the way that you do, for somebody in this crowd that says, man, these things are durable, they're going to hold up, you know, out there, the public needs to know, like, that's the real deal. These bikes and these parts that all you guys and that we now are starting to put together and get out there, dude, they're road tested, hands down. Like, these things have all been run hard and put away wet. So, you know,
And I think that's the best testimonial
Right.
for any of the stuff that any of us do is, you know, like, I remember Bill, how many times has Bill ridden across country to a show just to show up to it and not even be a part of it, just
Right.
to prove that, you know, hey, look, you guys didn't invite me, but I still showed up at Born Free on a bike I built. And then I was here for 15 minutes and got back on my bike and went home.
Uninvited. I love it.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, listen, Paul, thank you for taking some time with us tonight. I appreciate you being here, and hopefully we can have you back some more. I would love to, when you're coming out with these products, please keep us in the loop so we can break some of that stuff for you and with you.
Yeah, man, definitely. I appreciate it. I'm excited to do that.
Yes, sir. And good luck. We'll see you in Tennessee.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll see you guys in a few weeks. Thanks, guys.
See you
All
soon.
right, buddy.
Night.
Yeah, man. I can remember, like the first time I came upon Paul, I think was at the horse smokeout, and you know he was just sitting there with, I think at the time it was Hell in a Handbasket was one of his bikes, and he
Yeah.
always had like the coolest names because
Oh, yeah.
a lot of his shit came out of music from our
Right,
generation.
right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
he
the Hate
definitely.
Tank and, you know.
I was just that was one I was going to
Yeah.
say. The Hate Tank was one of my more favorites, and he was always another one of that. You know, like you knew that dude put his heart into everything that he built, and when it was done, it was done. It was 100%.
Yeah, absolutely.
So these people look at these bikes and they say to themselves, "Oh, you can't ride that, man. These guys have proven you can ride that
Yeah.
bike."
Yep. So go check them out. Check out bareknucklechoppers.com. Like you said, there's a new website coming out. Follow them on social media and get ready to meet them yourself at the Tennessee Music and Motorcycle Revival coming up in just short time here. You can also catch up with us there. And speaking of custom motorcycle guys, we wanted to clue you guys in on a new little happening. It's kind of a new revised revival kind of thing of itself. People were looking for the how-to, the DIY guys that want to learn some more. Billy Lane from Choppers Inc. is actually going at his YouTube page like a madman. And we got a quick video here we're going to share with you guys from what Billy's up to. But you want to check him out on YouTube.
I love, the handmade element to these machines, and I love even the custom bikes I do. I've always done kind of older stuff. I don't customize brand new motorcycles. I've always been working with stuff that was made decades before I got my hands on it. And I just started learning about this old stuff and being a mechanic and a real rider. I love the challenge of taking one and giving it life again, because most people don't know how to work on this old stuff and making it usable again. I mean, it's such a rush. I mean, never forget, every time I take one of these bikes out on the track, when I first drop in off that ramp and it fires to life and I go down the straightaway, it's like the biggest rush you can imagine. It's like going over the falls on a roller coaster. It's like, man, I'm going to ride this. I'm going to probably be the first person to ride this in 100 years.
So awesome. So like I said, man, you want to keep up to date with the stuff that he's bringing out. It's, a little bit of how-to, a little bit of day in the life, always good information. Go check him out on YouTube, Choppers Inc. Tell him the boys over at ShopTalk sent you. Don't tell him Heather sent you, because Heather's busy with social media. What do you got?
You're
what do you got,
killing me
Blondie?
tonight. I can't
What do you
do
got?
both. Let's see. Ron Tonetti, Mark versus Walter.
Nice. Is he awake yet? That Walter sleeps a lot.
A lot of people chiming in for
Yeah, a lot of
Paul.
people. Paul's work is badass. And
Paul
my
lets his
computer's
products for
stuck.
sure. Test his products.
Yep. Carlos Amador showed up better late than never. Kiefer's here. Brian Ferrand from Bluegrass Engraving is here. And I'm super excited about Brian. He and I chatted today. And you keep screwing me up. I can't work with my husband today.
I'm testing your professionalism.
Yeah, I don't
That's all.
have any. I don't have any.
Hey, that's my job.
Anyway, continue. I totally lost my train of thought. You screwed me up.
You were talking about Brian from Bluegrass Engraving, and it's
yeah,
an
and you
important
interrupted
announcement,
that.
So we're going to get back to it.
Loser.
Well, not Brian, of course.
No, Brian,
Oh,
you
all
are
right,
not
good.
a
No,
loser.
me.
Chris is the loser.
God, I gotta save this show all the time. This is getting ridiculous.
What? Like I make you laugh? I'm a comedian?
I'm funny.
I'm funny how?
All right, continue.
Let's get back to the Brian thing. You talked to him
Oh,
today.
he's doing bitchin' surprises for our In Motion guys, but
nice.
you don't get one, so
And
and,
you're not-
neither does Chris.
I always get one.
No, I'm going to make
telling
sure you guys
because
don't.
I'll steal somebody's.
That number I gave you, Brian, deduct 2.
Bullshit.
I always
Deduct 2.
Get, I
Bullshit.
always get my way.
You don't want two poor builders to not get their knives, do
No,
you?
you're not getting them because he sends them to me and I give them out. You get nothing.
Here we go again. I'm gonna have to separate these two.
Oh no, Mark, you don't get anything either.
Okay, I'm gonna have to separate her.
Good luck with that.
I keep asking.
know.
Ladies and gentlemen, my wife.
I keep asking. They won't fire me.
Well,
I
nope.
try.
We'll have
You
to
can't
sell
get fired from this job. Back to the news for a minute. Harley Davidson XG 750R historic first win. Those of you that subscribe to the magazine will see a full article about this in Tyler Porter's Inside Line column this month. Feverishly, I called him up with a raised eyebrow and said, okay, what's going on here that Harley Davidson gets the first win with the XG 750? Is this something that they've slanted? Have they created a new class? Tyler, like a gentleman and a scholar, puts it together, in pretty good fashion, man. He did a great job with it, great explanation, and actually makes me have some respect for what's going on there. So go check them out. We congratulate Harley Davidson on their first production twins win in Sacramento.
That was pretty cool. So I think my favorite part of today was
When I got here.
my second favorite part of today
All right, just checking.
was when we got to call Eric Greenfield today.
Yes, and this means that we can go to Hot Off the Press. So this actually happened in our office today, and I'm going to play the video for it.
I did, actually.
open it?
Holy shit! Oh my God! You've got to be kidding me! Oh my God! I can't believe it, man. That thing looks. Oh my God!
So what's like? Can you tell what was the picture?
What's this? You guys got a picture of my bike on the cover of your magazine.
That's right. That's right. So.
Oh my God! I can't freaking believe it, man. Oh my God! I mean, holy shit! I'm speechless. I don't even know what to say. You gotta be kidding me. I mean, thank you. God dang.
So there are many, many rewards to being a journalist, to publishing a magazine, to being involved in media. Few will ever give you the pleasure of seeing another person's excitement about getting a bike on the cover, especially a guy like Eric. Eric is just a regular guy. He's not a builder. He's not a celebrity.
No, he drives like
I mean?
a 400-mile UPS route every
Yep.
day. It's great.
And
I want to be able to do that every month. Like Chris likes to
drive the
tell
400-mile UPS
no
route?
to
Oh,
surprise people
all
like
right.
that. Like Chris likes to tell people, "Oh, your bike is on the cover." I just want them to see it in their mailbox and be like, "Oh my God!"
Yeah.
Right.
So tell him he's a party pooper. He shouldn't tell people. It should be a surprise.
hey, look, Dan Starkey says I can relate. He was another one. He
Yeah,
was another
Missy
one
has
that we
told
did
us several times how excited Dan was, and
Yeah.
that just does my heart so good because, you know, so often we get the sour grapes saying you only feature your friends, and
You
you know,
misspelled my name.
Not
my
even
picture.
that, like-
oh, we get that. We get
Well,
that.
yeah, but
I
we
actually had
have-
a lady one time, and this was way back in the day when we were still newspaper. Mark will remember this. She came up to me in the middle of dinner, and she said, "Do you think one time you can spell my husband's name right?" I said, "Well, seeing as we will never run anything about your husband again, I doubt it's going to happen. But I'll give it a shot."
Yeah. We'll give it our best shot.
no, you know, like
How
I
can you
said,
mess up Smith? You know, I just don't understand that.
have you seen Chris type?
Yeah.
Hold on.
I'm not good.
No, it's really great. I love it when we can do that. Like I said, especially, you know, when you have those sour grapes that call you and, you know, you only feature your friend's bike and these big time builders and
Expensive, $30,000,
if you
$40,000
actually
customs.
read Cycle Source, you would know that was not the case and you're just being a sour sport. So don't call me.
Yeah, many times, many times we take a guy that's just a regular guy because not a lot of people will know this. Issue 1, Volume 1 of Cycle Source magazine started with my humble shovelhead, and for a long time, I think 16 years, maybe 18 years, it was the only time my bike was ever on the cover or in the magazine, one of my builds. And I was so frustrated. I wanted to get that bike shown somewhere. I love my bike so much that we started a whole magazine for guys like me. You know
Actually,
what I mean? And
it was in year 20 because it was a little
Yeah.
twisted.
Yep.
So it
You
was
know,
20 years later.
The funny part about it is hopefully we've been talking about it for years. Someday coming around, that bike will once again be on the cover because it's sitting on the workbench at my
Yeah.
garage, burnt to a crisp.
right?
That someday,
I can't wait to do that. I
someday
really can't.
someday it'll come up. Someday that was
Someday.
an amazing motor. So hopefully, if we
Okay.
could stop for 1 second and do something.
Well, you need to talk to him about that. Just say no, Mark.
just say no.
Just say no.
I've never been able to
Just
do that
say
my whole
yes.
life.
Just
That's
say
the
Not
yes.
to him,
smallest-
right?
That's the smallest, hardest word in the English language.
And it's the first word we
It
learn.
is no.
Think about it. Like it's really the first
Yeah.
learn
Well, no,
as a
the
child
first word that's yelled at us.
is no.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
is no.
Okay, the two of you. Before we get to our next guest of the hour, we got a really cool thing going on with John Shope here, and I want you guys to enter some comments as John tells the platform of this new thing that we're working on. We're going to take 2 minutes and hear from John Shope, Dirty Bird Custom.
It's me again. Hey, I want you guys to comment on this idea because I think it's a good idea. So I was sitting around the shop looking at all the plaques and some of the things that I've done through my career. So we did a 10, I don't know what you want to call them, segments or whatever. Some of you have seen them, some of you haven't. But I got a hold of Chris from Cycle Source and we were talking about me doing something at Sturgis or whatever on stage. And I said, hey, I've got all these segments. So I sent them to him. He loved them. And he mentioned, hey, would you mind if some other builders did this? And I go, no, I think it'd be awesome. Who wouldn't want to hear Eddie Trotta's story or Dave Perowitz or Paul from Bare Knuckle? I mean, these guys, you might not even know who Paul is. Paul Cox could tell Indian Larry's story, or somebody could tell Arlen Ness's, Corey could tell Arlen's story. You know, they're just little 1 minute, you know, however quick or long you want to make them. And then Chris from Cycle Source would post them on his, he has a huge following. But I'd like to go hear all these guys' stories. This is a tough industry. You know what I mean? There's some guys you don't even know about and what they've done and what they have invented. So put a comment on here on what you think of that idea. You can watch my segment things on my Facebook if you want to, if you haven't already. Chris is going to post them on his. But I think it'd be good for the industry, good for the young guys that want to come up and do something like this, you know, be in the bike industry, or just, you know, follow their favorite builder, see how they did it, or just, you know, use like I did, the bikes. We use the plaques or the magazines from the bikes, or pictures you may have. You could do, I'm sure everybody that does it's going to do it a better job than I did. But anyway, comment on here, and I'm going to tag a few people in here. I think it's a bitchin' idea. So let's do this. Thanks.
He cracks me up.
I think it's a bitchin' idea too. I want to know who everybody wants to learn about.
Yeah.
You know, the cool thing, and like he said, is, you know, in some senses, not even the front guy. How many guys that people don't even know did the
like
things
Broseph?
that they did?
Broseph.
Right. I mean,
but there's 100 Broseph.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Hey, you know,
There's 100 Broseph.
Me and Kevin years ago,
Kevin Copey,
bringing up the Paul from Bare Knuckles, the Pat Pattersons. We had a little gang together, and we all called it me and Kevin called it the B Squad, the B class, because every time we went somewhere, all the fucking cool guys got to go and run, and us B class had to sit back and just drink in the room, you know, which we bitched about
because you guys worked. You worked your asses off to keep it all running.
And there was so many, and you know, like I've talked to Bill Dodge, and I've talked, you know, we've had this conversation. There's so many people that make this happen.
Yep.
So, you know, that's a great idea. Just to
and John too. Like, figure it would come from John Shope. Like,
of course.
We've had the pleasure, and I'll say this live in front of everyone. We've had the pleasure to really get to know John over the last couple years.
Yeah,
John is badass.
Yeah.
And I mean, never mind the fact, like, if you didn't see his shit in Sturgis,
it was awesome,
wide ass open, baby.
That burnout he did on the stage,
you know, he
pointed at all of his customers' bikes. I was like, oh, good Lord, please stay put. And he wouldn't let anybody hold the bike.
Yep.
No, we're
Don't
like,
touch
John,
it.
we'll hold the bike. No. I practiced this shit, he said.
Yeah, I mean, he's a real, I mean, down, you know, grass kind of guy. I mean, he's really into it.
You know, seriously, Mark, you would be a really good one to do one of these segments on. Like, for so long, you've been here for so long, and you always took the
the back seat. You
You're
go
like,
do
you
that.
handled the
go
business.
Do that.
But you had to. I mean, if you think about it in the long run, there can only be so many lead singers. You know what I mean? There has to be a guy that puts a microphone and a cord together. There has to
absolutely.
Be. So, I mean...
But you have some of the best stories because you were there and you got to see it all.
Yeah, and the sad part about it is now somebody keeps making me sit in front of this camera with this microphone for years. Jeff Cochran said to me one day, dude, all these years, nobody even knows your name. How did you do it? You're my hero. You know, like...
And I ruined it.
You're done now because Mom says you're really good.
Well, that's the problem.
Miss Judy said you're really good, so...
There's going to be an issue. So,
but
I think it's a great idea. It's not only that. What would be cool would be to get like the groups, like with me and Chris, to get Joe, Kevin, and Pat in the same room together, to get these people together, and to just me, Kevin, and Pat, and then Joe coming in after. I mean, it would be an awesome idea. It'd be a lot of fun. I can tell you that.
I think maybe for one day, and I stress one day, not actually one work day, not 24 hours, because that would be horrible. For no more than 8 hours, you should have like the Limp Nicky lot.
Oh,
just no. Just
I can't take that. I'm pretty sure my marriage can't take it. I'm
now. Well, I'll tell you, I can tell you that do not. Or somebody has to bring the alcohol because you can't buy the bottle from the bar.
No, you can't buy the bottle from the bar.
Right?
So,
I learned that one.
Can't happen. So
okay, so
but that would be good.
On to bigger and better things.
That's a pretty.
Just for storytelling only.
Yeah.
Well,
that is all.
Some of those stories you can't tell.
Yes, you can.
The hot dog assault.
Oh my God! Poor Flip again.
Poor Flip.
Poor Flip.
Poor Flip.
The vodka bread.
Oh my God, another one.
And they all had names, you know?
Yes, they did.
Wow. So our next guest coming up on the top of the hour here is
Who has a couple great stories also. So
is fabled in story and song. I was just getting ready to say
potato gun beaner.
Dude,
Come
we
on.
got to talk about the
That's
potato gun.
fantastic.
We got to talk about the potato gun. So obviously I'm talking about Kevin Beaner. Beaner, everything Beaner, as he's known on his social media channels. We've been friends with Beaner for an awful long time. It's great to see a bunch of the stuff he does because even people who are tried and true motorcycle nuts live part of their life vicariously through the stuff that Beaner gets to do. So we're going to go to the phone lines right now and see if we can get him on for you.
Hello?
Brother Bean, you're live on Shop Talk. How you doing?
I am doing outstanding.
Dude, and how about the fact that I said Brother Bean and you and Speed pop up on the
Oh, my
screen
God.
first thing?
What a great picture.
Wow.
Yep, so great. So
I'm
great.
honored. I'm honored.
Now, Beaner, did you drive like pretty much right by us today? Is that what I understand? Didn't stop, not even like just
It
drove
was
right by?
raining. It was raining.
Are you gonna melt?
Terrible.
I don't think so.
No,
Can't be the
listen,
first time
you
you've ridden
can't-
in the rain.
Listen, you cannot hassle or slow down a fellow traveler with guilt. Like if it's in the cards, the shit happens. I understand more than anybody.
Hey, wait a minute.
Well,
Have
that was
you
the
met my
welcome-
mother?
That was the welcome to Pennsylvania I-80 sign, was it not?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yes.
yes. But I didn't post it till I got into. No, it wasn't the I-80 sign. It was the 79 sign down by Washington.
So you were right.
But he
near it.
didn't
Right
post
on.
that picture until he
I
was in
posted
Harrisburg.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where's Harrisburg?
Like
No,
3
no,
hours
no.
east.
No, that's not true.
Yeah, you had
He
to have
was
gone
in
north.
told you
Pittsburgh.
that.
It said in Pittsburgh.
I was in Pittsburgh. That's legit.
Could have met you for breakfast, anything but no.
Hey, I was right there where you were, by the way, just to let you know.
Yep.
That would. Like I said, that would have been cool.
He's like, well, shit.
Listen, I'm sure it'll be in the cards. I got plenty of pictures of Beaner hanging out here at Cycle Source headquarters.
I just saw one. I was in a
Yep.
cot with my laptop. I don't even carry a laptop anymore.
Right on. So wait a minute, you don't carry a laptop anymore. I just saw you naked on the beach downloading something with a laptop.
It's an old picture.
Oh.
That was a picture that I had taken because I was supposed to be working on this reality show, and they told me I couldn't do nude pics. So I went to the beach and did that picture. I was like, "How about that? Then is this okay?"
That's great. So starting off, we want to obviously talk about the Wharf Rat Rally because here it comes again, and there you go. Just like we said, you're hauling ass to get up to Nova Scotia, all the way up.
And
to
I'm
Maine.
running late too. I
Right.
am running late. True story.
So anybody who's not been to the Wharf Rat Rally, it truly is a completely unique and one-of-a-kind deal, right?
Absolutely, I love it. There's a lot of different reasons. What differentiates from a lot of the, like our rallies. One of the things they do is the hospital rides, and we get a group of people and we go to adult living facilities, and we're also doing workshops too, where people with special needs. They go there and work. Otherwise, they couldn't find any type of gainful employment. And this gives them a purpose. Rather than them just sitting at home, they like show up to work, even though what they do is they do what they can, put it that way. They make trinkets and they sell them. And that's how they raise money to keep the thing going. It's a non-profit organization, but it works real good and the government supports it. And so I show up to places like that and give sidecar rides.
Yeah,
We've been
That
doing
sounds
that.
like fun.
We started that at the Wharf Rat. They started it probably almost close to 10 years ago, just with one hospital. We're up to 9 hospitals and workshops now in 4 days.
Wow,
Last
that's
year
incredible.
I rode 250 people in my sidecar.
Wow.
And some of these people we had they bring out this medical. They got a name for it, but I'm not lying. It is exactly like an engine puller for a car.
It's called a Hoyer lift.
Yeah, Hoyer lifts. But it looks exactly like it, only it's got this little bit of fiberglass like covering, like they built a body around it, even though it still looks just like it. And they wheel it under the wheelchair, pick the person up, and with them in there, they can turn them and slide the thing under my sidecar, and then they just drop them in. And when you lower them in, you're pulling, making sure nothing snags. And it's just like setting a motor. And if you ever did that in the doghouse, you're pulling the wires and making sure everything's clear, and you got people on both sides. And that's how we put people into the sidecar. And we do a lot of those people too. So, and that takes a little longer, but it's just it's so rewarding. It really is a good. Whether you're there watching it or helping or taking pictures and waving to the people, and it's a really great. I say I get more out of it than I think they do. It's that rewarding.
Well, it's pretty fantastic. I mean, you and I talked earlier today, previous to this show, and we talked about how community direct charity is the best stuff that you can do.
Right.
But, I mean, you confided into me a little extra about these stories about how sometimes you actually get one of the family members on the back of the bike with you while their family member, the patient, is in the sidecar with you, and they get to firsthand see the reaction of that experience and how much that means.
That's the whole thing, because when I first started seeing the reaction, I mean, it's just mind blowing. It's like, is anybody seeing this? Has anybody ever seen anything like this? So then I put the people on so they can see it, and now I'm watching both of them, and it's amazing. And what people do now. Some of the people that we lift out with the Hoyer lift, it takes a little longer, so I tell them we're going to take a little longer ride.
Yeah.
Some of the workshop people, I try to take them on a little bit longer ride. But a lot of these patients, all they do is do a circle around the parking lot.
Yeah.
And that's more than enough. You get the reaction from them. It's just so mind-boggling.
And it's so much for these people. I mean, these are people that don't get out, don't get visitors.
No.
I mean, for years, my girl Dana did this, and she got sick, and now she really can't work that much. But the appreciation that these people get for helping, for working with these people is very little. And for you to come in there and people to come in there and spend the time giving these guys the opportunity to get out of there and get the wind in their face and do something exciting is huge. I mean, that's a big thing, I mean, you go way out of your way to help these people live one great day, and I mean, for some of them people, that's all they have,
And that's that's what makes me feel good, because these people are at the end of the road.
Yep.
And they've already made peace and know that they're just waiting.
Oh, yeah.
Nothing's changing. No, there's no. And so doing this really opens their mind to, hey, maybe I'm not done living yet.
On.
I mean, it's still got a little bit of, and it's so great to watch it in their face. And some of them have, a lot of them actually have Alzheimer's, and they can't remember.
This is one of my favorite things that you told me about this. Please continue. This is so great.
Oh, there's a bunch of them. This is other stories. One of them is I kind of feel like I cheat people, because their family members might come and visit them once, a couple times a week, and they don't remember them.
Yeah.
I show up for an hour to a year, and they remember me every year.
That's
they remember
awesome.
the bike. They remember the ride.
That's awesome.
They remember that. Like, they got in my car the first year, and 2 people asked me, was this the motorcycle that you said you were going to bring last year? Because I told them, next year I'm going to bring a motorcycle, and y'all going to ride with me.
Yep.
And they remembered that. I had one guy, they bought him a rocket, it was he was a head injury from a motorcycle accident, but they bought him a rocket that you shoot up in the sky and to kind of help him. And he took, like 6 months to build it. And when he was done, they were going, okay, you ready to, we'll go lift off. He goes, no. He goes, I'm going to save it for when Beaner's here, and we'll shoot it together. And we did that, filmed that. We shot the rocket up, and he had it decorated for the Wharf Rat Rally. And I mean, it was so, it's like I said, they're amazing, and it's super rewarding.
Well, it's a great thing with all the other things that you have the opportunity to do. I mean, to stop and take the time to do what you're doing, it's it's pretty awesome
very
for the
commendable
for the families and for the people. And like I said, for the people that work in these facilities that throw their lives into this, to see the smiles on the faces of the people they take care of every day. Like I said, this is personal. I have somebody that I care about dearly that did this for a living, and used to come home at night and cry because it was so upsetting.
It's tough.
Yeah.
I don't see. My hat's off to people. I've known nurses. I know
CNAs.
Melissa, she's a hospice nurse, and her stories. I mean, wow,
they're horrible.
Yeah.
And these people get up and go to work every day, and they do it every day. And
they have to.
And let me tell you, they don't make a lot of money. These people do it because they love helping other people. So, yeah, kudos to going and really making a difference for these people in their lives. I mean, that's a
one-on-one capacity.
Oh, that's huge.
Well, this all started. I said I've been very fortunate to be able to do all the stuff I do and continue. I've been pretty lucky with health and very little accidents. So I decided, I wanted to give back.
Yeah.
So that's where I first started with, I'm going to get a sidecar and do this Share the Win thing. Well, that was 3 years ago. And I said I was going to do it for a year. And what happened was, I didn't have any regular things that I was doing except the Wharf Rat Rally. Every year was regular. And these people, when I told them I'm going to bring that sidecar and they remembered it, well, then I realized I can never go back without a sidecar. Because if I have those same people that remembered me and said, is this a sidecar? They're going to say, oh, you didn't, we're not riding this year. You didn't bring anything this year.
That would be disappointing.
It would crush me. It would be like going to an orphanage with presents for Christmas and then going back the next year and telling them, hey, I brought you presents last year. What do you want?
Yeah, right, exactly.
So what I figured out, I knew I couldn't do this forever, and the way I'm doing it anyways. So I worked a deal with the Wharf Rat Rally this year, my third year with the sidecar, and I'm selling. I couldn't afford to give them the sidecar and motorcycle, so I worked a deal and said, you pay me half of what it's worth, and I'll give the other half to you. So that way they'll have the motorcycle and the sidecar stay up there.
Yeah.
And if I go back up there, I can use that on the hospital rides. We'll do it together, but they can also have it the rest of the year.
Right.
It's
awesome.
there, and they could set up more of these and do more. Maybe they do it for a bike night.
So
whatever. So it's going to continue, no matter whether I'm there or not, and I think that's kind of cool.
That is super awesome. And actually, what would be cool is maybe a call to action to some other people that might have sidecars that could maybe join you in that journey. And, I've always wanted a motorcycle with a sidecar. Maybe Chris and I can work on that over this next year, and we could join you. And that way you can give that experience to even more people. I would love to be able to be a part of that. There's a guy on here right now who I already mentioned, Brian Ferran, whose daughter, I don't know her circumstances, but I do know she is confined to a wheelchair and she is struggling daily with her recovery. He mentioned on here that he would love to see her have that experience again. Brian, I'm going to work on that for you and see who we can get to you.
She has her own Hoyer lift, so she's ready.
She's waiting.
So, where does she live? Where do they live?
Brian, well, that's just it, Beaner. She's actually in the Louisville area. So we're gonna, I don't know if maybe on your way back or sometime. If not, I am gonna work on that to see if I can make that happen for her,
Yeah,
Brian.
because see, unfortunately, now
Oh,
I'm
you're
not gonna
leaving
have
the bike up
sidecar.
there.
Well,
But-
maybe
I'm
we
leaving
can
it up
do
there.
something.
We can make
Otherwise,
that happen, though.
change.
Maybe something through Will Ramsey at Faith Forgotten Choppers or one of his customers that has a sidecar. We can make that happen. If you're listening, Will, reach out to us about this. If not,
Or
we're going to
anybody
be in
in
touch with
Louisville
you.
that's
Yeah,
listening. Not
anyone
even
in
just
Louisville.
Will.
So,
Yep.
Brian, we're going to actively work on that for you and your daughter because I have seen some of her daily struggles, and it's amazing.
If there's anything
It's-
if there's anything that through the social media and through the show and to give to others, if there's an opportunity, anybody that's listening that has the ability that knows somebody in the
get
area,
out and get involved.
Go
Do
out,
this.
man. Do
Yeah.
this for someone, because imagine if it was your kid or if it was your father or your brother, or you, for God's sake. You know what I mean?
Like
it's
this,
worth it.
she's a beautiful, beautiful young woman, and he just said that she was hit by a truck and she's now a quadriplegic.
Oh my God!
I think, and excuse me if I'm wrong, Brian, but she's in her 20s and she is a stunning young woman, and she is so incredibly strong. So, our prayers go out to you.
I have realized that when I got the sidecar, there were more and more and more people, I'd hear, and it's all ages, I thought about, all the vets that come back and can't ride anymore, and things like that. And that's, it just, once you got a sidecar, that's the best. If you're driving a sidecar by yourself, it really is not anything like a motorcycle anymore.
Right.
They drive like a dump truck.
Yeah.
I think, I thought that maybe when I get older, because I was thinking one day I'm going to be like Brother Speed and I'm going to slow down. I feel it coming. I thought maybe a sidecar would be the way. I've reconsidered, and even though I've never driven a trike, I think that's the way I will go with a trike after driving a sidecar. I mean, it's
a lot of work,
500
right?
miles yesterday and 500 miles, almost 500 today. I'm in Fishkill, New York right now, and it's very work is it's a struggle.
It's a job.
It's a workout.
Let's switch gears for a minute, because you also, on top of the Wharf Rat Rally and everything you're going to do up there, you have a pretty incredible winter planned.
Yeah, man.
First of all, I have to say that, like I said before you came on, it's hard to make me jealous about going places and doing things. Dude, there's a picture up on our screen right now of you sitting on the bus.
I was just gonna bring that up when you said that too. I was thinking of you the whole time I did that. I know you were digging this.
Oh my God, dude! Like how amazing to actually visit the bus, dude. You visited the bus, and for you guys that think I'm crazy and don't even know what we're talking about, like the name that I sign my paintings and shit when I do it is Christopher Lewis Supertramp. And it's because of the book Into the Wild. And like, if you haven't read the book or at least broke down and watched the movie, you have to. But this is literally the bus from that story. Beaner visited the bus.
They have two buses in Alaska. One was a movie prop bus, and it's parked right on the side of the highway at a brewery. You could go. You just pull over and walk right in it. It's free. They got a lot of movie memorabilia and other facts of the true story in the bus. So it's a nice thing to look at. But it's right there in the parking lot. Now the other bus, the real bus, the magic bus, it's 21 miles one way from the nearest, from the road where the road ends. I parked my bike. I left it there for 4 days. Wow. I hiked 2 days. I know. I even left some of my stuff in a bag strapped on the back. Because what do you do? Yeah. And I hiked out there. I met a young kid on a little dirt bike from Canada. He was up there. He tried to get out, couldn't make it, and was trying again. So I said, well, let's go together, be safer with all the bear and stuff. And when we got to the end of the road, we met a third guy on a bike from Italy. Marco, and so he said he tried it 2 weeks ago and couldn't get across the river, and he went to Anchorage and bought a raft, and he was considering on going back, and we're like, nothing to consider, let's go. There's 3 of us now, we'll go, and we went and we made it, and I mean, I knew it was cool and it was something I wanted to do, but I had no idea the impact when I finally, because we weren't really sure, nobody's really sure if you're going the right way or anything, and when you finally see that bus, when it just all of a sudden you haven't, we didn't see anything for 2 days, and there's the bus, and it just hit so hard and was so emotional that I wasn't expecting that. So it was really pretty cool. I ended up sleeping on the bus that night.
That's so awesome, dude. Well, I mean, and that's just an example of one of your epic trips, and not too long ago.
Was that same trip to Alaska. Right before that, just less than a week before that, I rode my chopper all the way to Prudhoe Bay, Alaska, up the Dalton Highway, the also known as the Hall Road or Ice Road Truckers Road.
Yeah,
Wow.
It's the most northern road on the globe. I broke my frame. And that I really, the last bit of that is 230. It's a little over 500 miles total from Fairbanks, but the last clip is 237 miles of nothing. Terrible dirt roads, no cell phone reception, no nothing.
Yep.
So if you're getting a jam there and break something, you're kind of screwed,
Kind of in a jam. Yeah.
And so I really felt like I pushed my luck. I did that and succeeded, and I didn't want to keep pushing my luck, so I almost didn't go to the bus. And then at the last minute, I changed my mind. So yeah, that was pretty intense trip. That one was.
Well, you have coming up again this year your book that's out, Beaner Rambles the Orient. You're actually now going back as a tour guide.
Yeah. Adventure mentor. I'm the adventure. Will you trust me to take you on an adventure?
Strangely
It'll be
enough,
all right.
Strangely enough, it would probably be the trip of a lifetime.
Well, no, wait a minute.
We've done a
Sign
few
the
adventures
waiver.
together already, so yeah. I mean,
I know the secret here. Beaner's
Yeah.
actually a fantastic truck buddy.
Right.
So
That was Truck Buddy, right?
was-
I did hear you.
Yeah,
right.
yes.
that was truck buddy. TRUCK. TRUCK.
But that's how rumors start. I'm just saying.
Oh, but yeah, tell everybody a little bit about what your tour guide deal is coming up and where you're going to be, because it's in itself amazing.
Well, everyone liked the book and they liked the trip over there. And I went back last year for 3 months just for a vacation. Everyone's like, "You going to write another book?" I'm like, "No, I'm just doing it." Well, Vietnam's changing quick. And I really want people to experience what I experienced. And so I come up with a plan. I would go over and I would meet people. You book a set of time with me for a trip, and it's your trip. I'm a private tour guide for people, and I'll pick you up at the airport, have a bike ready, we'll take off. You bring who you want to. If you want to come alone, you come alone. If you want to bring your best friend or your wife or whatever, that's on you. That's, it's your trip. There's not going to be strangers, and we're trying to. So that was kind of the first of my idea on this. The other is we go at your pace, and pretty much I'm going to let you lead. I'll guide you in the right direction, but you stop when you want to stop. You see something cool, you stop. We don't go blasting by it.
Yeah.
And you can explore it like I explored it.
It's not somebody setting your trip up for you. It's you setting your trip up, and you're helping them get through what they want.
Right, I'm
Yeah.
there. I'm
right.
there.
That's pretty awesome.
To lean on. The other thing is there's no reservations. We got no plans. And I even said that on my website that, adversity can be a good ingredient for an adventure.
Right.
You know, if we get stuck somewhere and there's no rooms and that's going to make a
All
good
the better. Yeah.
story, you know, and it's, you know, that's all just part of the adventure. And that's, I tell people, if you need more security, then take a cruise and they'll tell you when to eat and when to sleep and when to, you know, everything.
I would totally take that trip.
A cruise is not an adventure.
Yeah.
You know, so that's what I'm doing, and I announced it on Facebook, and you know, I told people with the long flight and all, and it's a lot to take in Vietnam is, you know, a 2-week really is the minimum, and I know a lot of people can't take off like I take. I'm doing 6 months. I'm going over there for 6 months.
God, and that's a crazy trip.
My plan was 1 month over there by myself. And then 4 months of tours, and then 1 month by myself to unwind. Well, the 4 months totally booked up almost immediately. Within a week or two, I was booked up. I got people offering more money to take someone else's spot. I got other people saying, well, what about that first month you were going over? Can I meet you? And now I got people on the last trip want to stay longer than 2 weeks. So so I'm losing even my time. I'm going to be really, really, really busy.
That's awesome, though.
That's good. That's the point of
I
it.
think it's going to be pretty cool. And now, I don't know if you know Bear with...
Yeah,
used to be Himalayan Heroes, but now that company kind of separated, and he's running Motorcycle Sherpas now.
Right on.
And it's the same thing. But it's him and his other partner, Booty, from India. And they're doing Nepal stuff. Well, I was just talking to him this morning or last night. And he wants me to do a tour with him, so we're gonna do some planning. But see, he added Bangladesh and a couple other countries he's talking about, and who knows, we might even get a Vietnam trip or something in there. Could be Vietnam, could be Cambodia, Laos too. Those are, you know, I got to do them my last trip over there, and it's really cool. That's an adventure to me. It's pretty cool.
Well, like I said, man, not too many people actually get to a place that makes us jealous because we run and run and run. And man, you know, keep that stuff coming. Tell everybody where they can keep track of where you're at and where you're going next.
Everythingbeaner.com, and Beaner is spelled Beanre. And not ER.
Oh, that's my bad. I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's a common
I did
mistake.
it right. Never mind.
No, she did it right.
And on Instagram, it's everything_Beaner. And same thing with Facebook. Facebook, it doesn't matter.
Well, there's an awful lot of people watching on Facebook right now that are digging you. So, right on.
I've been lucky. I got 3 pages of me on Facebook. I got about 30,000 followers. I know. I spend so much time.
Did you just meet him?
Right.
It's crazy.
He needs a Facebook page just for his boots.
Right?
Oh, the boots.
Hey, listen, I got to tell you guys, and I know Mark will remember this. I don't know if Heather remembers this far back in the day, but like in the early smokeouts, Beaner used to bring a wardrobe trailer.
Yeah.
Like he's cut
that
back.
Doesn't surprise me.
He's cut back considerably. He really has.
I wasn't around in those days.
Dude, he was uptight and out of sight, baby.
Yes,
like
he
he would
was.
bust out that pink lemon chiffon zoot suit, like nobody's
I had
business.
suits in every color and several in this. I had like 2 red ones, 2 pink ones,
Yellow,
a
yellow
blue one, a gold one, a white one.
He was all about the style,
I mean,
baby.
I still got the purple one. That's in the museum now.
You do know with the lot we have going on, that's going to be a Pimp and Hoe show coming up here.
Yeah.
So you might get breaking.
Well, let's just say the rumors are going on right now that there will be a Pimp and Hoe party.
Yes.
At the Handmade lot at town.
However, I think maybe it should be reversed. You guys can be the hoes.
Well, let's not be carried away.
Hey, listen, I'm all about this new women's movement,
Yeah,
but let's draw some lines still.
Honey, we all know you're a hooker.
Let's park that here.
Come
right
on.
That's
in the
besides the
garage.
fact. You can call me a hooker, you just ain't dressing me like
Where
one.
is the handmade lot in Daytona?
It's going to be
Or
announced.
is it going to be?
It's
It's
going to be announced
announced
very shortly.
soon.
Okay.
Right now, it is at an
Unfortunately,
undisclosed location.
I'm not going to be back from Vietnam in time for Daytona.
Well,
But-
we'll have to keep a place for you for the next one now.
In April, yep.
It
yeah.
looks like the handmade lot is going to catch a pretty good breeze. So
Yeah.
we ought to be all right for the next few.
And in Sturgis, it'll be back at Steel Pony, right?
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Excellent.
Yeah, bigger
'Cause
and
I
better.
went there. I had a good time. Liked it a lot. It's a great venue. Good people.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Well, we're giving it our best shot. That's for sure.
Yep. All right, man. Well, listen, we're getting late in the hour. I want to tell you how much we appreciate you being on here with us and
thanks for having me.
and
It's
taking
great.
time out of your trip off the road because I know you're late and you got to haul ass. So thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
And we'll have to catch up. Maybe we can get the time change deal right, and we can actually bring you in from Vietnam.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Oh, that we try. You know what? We could totally do that.
That would be
It's
cool.
just a 12-hour difference. So.
Right on. We're down.
So if we did this, it'd be 10 o'clock in the morning. I'd be talking to you
shit.
10
Oh,
o'clock
perfect.
at night. No
you could
big
be
deal.
having coffee.
That's right.
So will
Right.
I.
Well, make sure you keep in touch and safe travels, Beaner.
Oh, thank you, Heather, and nice talking to you.
All right, buddy. Later
All right,
on.
Beaner, be safe.
All right. Good night.
All right, man. One more time, I want to remind you guys that we're coming to you through the technology and courtesy of the Russ Brown Motorcycle Attorney Studio. Here with Shop Talk every Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on any of your social media networks, your favorites, your least favorites, and all of the above. We're also available in podcast form after the fact through any of the Apple or Android devices through Google Play and iTunes.
So I have a complaint tonight.
Okay.
There's been great interaction, awesome comments all night, but they're epically failing at shares.
Where's my share crowd?
Where are our sharers? Like, if we want to keep doing this, hopefully, eventually, it might.
Hey, what happened to the phone-in thing?
We're working on that.
That's a technology issue that we have to work
I got it. I
on.
got it
Ooh,
under control.
he's got it.
I need
Oh,
I
boy.
need to get it together, and then we need to promote it so that we have enough people that know that we're going to be doing it that we get
That'll
calls.
be pretty awesome. I think.
Oh, yeah.
I think that'll like really. up
Especially
the game.
because we're not going to edit it at all.
Right,
Like
no.
we're not going to
Well, that's good,
pick up
'cause-
the phone and say, "Hey, are you really scary? Like totally creepy?" and not talk to that person. We're just going to pick up
Oh,
the
no.
phone and say, "Go ahead with your
Can we have
batshit
sound
crazy
effects?
self." Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
we are pretty quick off the cuff though, so they might be in trouble. So this ain't our first rodeo.
No. So I do have a question that Chris and I have been pondering, and it makes me wonder, based on our lack of shares.
Oh, boy.
Again, lack of shares.
Yeah, this is
So-
actually going to be
and-
a poll of sorts. So
and
we're
this
gonna
is
put the,
really
let me
important.
put the social media feed up. Here we go.
Okay. Really important. We did a show unannounced on Sunday. Well, kind of unannounced on Sunday. And the feedback on it was fantastic. We had great views, a ton of shares, a lot of commentary. So, should we move the show to Sunday night,
I mean, listen,
9 p.m. Eastern, or should we keep it the same?
we've moved it around a lot through Shop Talk's 2-year history, and we're willing to take it wherever you guys are. You guys say whether you comment here right now, or leave comments in the feed, or send us direct messages.
Email us, DM us,
Which is
however,
better, Sunday
whatever.
or Thursday?
Don't
Smoke
call me.
signals.
Smoke signals are good too.
Set up smoke
We'll-
signals.
We'll take smoke signals.
That'd be fun.
Oh, Chopper's Rule. Guess who's here?
Steve Peffer. I see.
Really?
He just got back from a chopper ride. Chopper's
Sweet-
rule.
Sweet Jesus, Steve.
Sweet.
So we
Sweet
had
Fanny
a
Brown.
Somebody actually on Tuesday night pulled up and said, "Hey, is that Steve Peffer?" Well,
Yeah.
after I settled Chris down, we told him no.
Dude.
Yep, he did.
No, listen, it was awesome.
It was
though.
funny.
We were the only, me, Mark, and Ed Fish. Heather was with us. We're the only 3 choppers in the entire parking lot at a bike night. We went to bike night, dude, and it was like
weirdest bike night ever because all the people were inside and all the bikes were outside.
There were
Made
lonely
no
motorcycles.
sense.
And we're not much of a do it at home kind of
Yeah, when
We
we're
No,
have
when
so
we're
much
home,
stuff
we're
going on
home.
in the
Yeah.
first place. But Ed Fish is God hands down one
Our
of my favorite
mentor,
people.
one of
I
our
mean,
best
just
friends.
Mr.
Yep.
such an
Fish,
amazing
Mr.
person,
Fish.
and to actually ride with him, it was awesome. It truly was awesome.
Until we ran out of
until
gas.
I ran out of gas and lost him. And he come
I
back
said
to,
we. I was giving you
Oh
out.
no, it was me. No questions asked. I mean, I had. It was. I'll take the credit for that. Rob Keller almost ran me over, so that was fun.
Oh my god! I was getting off the bike to scream at whoever that was,
Yeah.
and then I saw who it was.
But I thought I'd make it 1 mile. 1 mile to
Yeah,
Popeyes.
we were 1
you
mile
know?
away.
So,
Goddamn choppers.
but yeah, odd for us to be at a bike night. But it was cool. It was nice to see some people come out, and it was, good conversation. A couple guys really went out of their way to come over and talk
Yep.
to us and ask some questions and stuff, which was pretty cool. They were the only other 2 people in the parking lot, by the way.
So
Because everybody was inside.
the place we were talking about in Pittsburgh, there's a joint called Jurgles. Every Tuesday night, they have a killer bike night. Val Porter from DVE is there every Tuesday. Sometimes the crowd is so ridiculous you can't get in the parking lot. That particular night, it looked like there might be a little bit of rain, and it apparently washed all the vajayjay off the road.
Right, literally.
So,
So they were pretty bit of it.
yeah, it was kind of sparse, but we were there with Mr.
It was-
Fish.
it was
and that-
nice.
yeah, that's what all it was about.
We're getting votes for Sunday here, guys.
Well, if it has to be, it has to be. So, real quick, we're going to go through a couple things because we're overtime actually on the show tonight.
Overtime.
Just a reminder that coming up in short order is the York Fairground or the York Bike Week at York Fairgrounds.
You're going to
them.
be there, aren't you?
Yeah, we're going to be there doing a bike show. Check out the full concert lineup, fuel, bunch of great stuff. Like Heather just reminded me we're doing a bike show. Willie's Chopper Time coming up for Biketoberfest.
One of the only reasons to go to Daytona.
Not the only reason.
I
but
said one of.
definitely the best reason.
One of.
And then what we were talking about tonight, and we'll be talking about in subsequent weeks with many of the builders from the subsequent. I said that too fast for me to actually pronounce it. In weeks to come, we'll be talking to many builders from the BC Moto Invitational at the
I'm glad you
Tennessee.
because most people are like leafing through their dictionary right now trying to figure out what the hell did he just say.
So check them out online too. The Tennessee Motorcycles and Music Revival.
Totally stoked for this.
Yeah, buddy.
Totally looking
Gonna
forward
be
to
a
it.
good time. And right before we go, we have a special report coming in from our man in the field, Xavier Muriel, who is out at the Golden Bolt. Take it away, X.
Deliver the bolt. Hey, what's happening? It's Xavier with Cyclosource. We're here in Los Angeles. We just finished up the Golden Bolt run, the Invitational. My man Brian Butera, Nick from Mad Pen Cycles, and Rick from RKV. Gentlemen, what just happened? Give me a little breakdown.
Well, went to do a 9-mile shakedown ride. Is it in the red? Took 3 hours.
3 hours, 3.5 hours later.
Yeah.
I would bet it took 5.
Okay, so we had breakdowns, we had overheats, we had people kicking us out of hotel parking lots.
Yep.
We had
bump start.
Hollywood, California traffic, which basically just sucks butt.
Me and you even took a walk down the...
We took a walk down Hollywood Boulevard.
Did you?
Yes, we came to look.
I never got to see the stars.
Oh yeah.
I'm looking for Brian on TMZ tonight.
But I can't tell you this. I can't tell you this, that if it wasn't for everybody at this table and the guy behind the phone here, we would all not be sitting here. And once again, that's exactly what this fucking thing is all about. Nobody left anybody, everybody helped everybody, and we're all back safe, and that's all that matters is the experience. So, Mr. Callan, you're thought of, you're loved, you're missed, and boys, congratulations, and right the fuck on. Later.
Oh,
That sounds like a day and a half.
Yeah. Who would figure that they'd make a good time out of it though, right?
Oh, right? That crew?
Hey, that's pretty much what we do. Though.
And they're all
Yeah.
going to be in Cherokee with us.
I
Like
know.
that whole crew. I think actually the whole crew except Rick is actually staying at our house.
And dude, the Cherokee Blue Ridge Run, that's our next stop on the tour. If you guys aren't hip to that, check them out online and social media. But we got the full complement of Grease and Gears Garage, the bike show that Bob K is an AMD qualifier. Bob has pulled out all the stops
Oh yeah,
this year.
he's got
It's
like
off the
30
hook.
builders just for the
Yep.
AMD show. We're having a bike show, a chopper show on Saturday all day, so you can come hang out with us there. You can watch people do cool stuff on a cool stage and hang out with cool people.
Yep. And
that aren't us.
I'm looking at the clock and I'm thinking we're 5 minutes late getting started and 15 minutes over. So we've given you 10 extra minutes of your value here at Shop Talk.
Wow.
And
Money's worth
Thanks
right
to the
there.
fine folks at Russ Brown Motorcycle Attorneys for letting us bring this to you every week. And again, let us know if you want Sunday or keep it Thursday. We want to do what you want us to do. Within reason.
Yeah.
Chris will do anything.
Once.
I don't even know what's going on
But
right now.
you can help us keep this going by hitting the share button. Make sure you hit the follow button. Tell your friends that every Thursday for now, until we decide if you want to move it to Sunday, Shop Talk is coming to you live through all of your favorite social media channels and through podcast after the fact. And we're going to pull this one in the station. So I want to thank both of you guys. And most importantly, I want to thank you guys for letting us into your headspace and sharing your motorcycle life with some motorcycle people doing motorcycle things and talking motorcycle shit.
All right.
You say motorcycle?
Motorcycle.
Motorcycles.
So until next week.
Same chopper time.
Oh, sweet Jesus.
Same chopper channel for another episode of Shop Talk. See you then.